behavioral evaluations and things like that, there is a disparity, there is discrimination. And I think I do believe we need our people in the classroom because we understand our kids, we understand our language, we understand our culture, and that's a conversation to be had as well. So I think that's very important, and what you do, particularly in upper academia, is very powerful and very important. So thank you.
And that's the power of community too, right? So, when I was teaching in Kentucky at a PWI, students would flock to me because, again, you're seeing someone who reflects you. And it's not to say that they didn't have great classes with other kinds of professors, but as I would always say, it's a richer conversation and a richer experience. And again, we can have this conversation, but I immediately knew I was going to be faculty council president as soon as I stepped on campus. I already knew I was going to get tenure in 6 years, and that's the period of time. I already knew because I went there as a change agent. And I said that to say, when I was faculty council president, I brought things up that nobody, because I was the first Black person to be in that position. So my lens was for people of color. I was like, well, what about this? People were like, I never thought of that. Not because they're ill-intended,
but their society was portrayed in a way where they didn't have to think about it.
And so when you bring it up, I call myself a DistrupHER proudly. One of two things happened. Either for some people, they felt like, okay, here she goes again, and you feel the weight of that to some degree. But then most people were like, thank you. Thank you for bringing that up because we just never thought about it. And so, and that community was one where for the most part, they did invite difference and they did invite these kinds of conversations. And the power was, it didn't create division across the campus. Most people came together in various positions across different, ethnicities and all of that to make the whole better. And that's the power of community, because it's not about me as an individual. It's about how can I make the whole better, right? Otto, going back to that scenario, he made the community better, even though it seemed like he was a curmudgeon and everybody talked about Otto. Really, he was the one that kind of held that community together.
He did. And going back to the movie, the mom, she unlocked reminded him of his usefulness.
Yeah.
Right, with the dishwasher and the kids and the babysitting, the driving, taught her how to drive. And to say, even in these latter years, and we may have people on here that are in the second stage, third leg of life, until you take your last breath, you still have use. You still have purpose. You're still needed in the community. There are things still inside of you. I always use the analogy, we're like a package, right? And the outside can be great, but we need to take off that lid, pull out the bubble wrap, pull out the tissue paper and dig inside, because God has placed all these little goodies inside of us. And I kind of always like to use the analogy of like when you go to Chick-fil-A or somewhere and you're eating your fries while you're driving, but there's always a few more fries down in the bottom of the bag. You might have to search around for it, but there's always those fries at the bottom of the bag, and you get excited all over again, like, oh, I've got more fries.
Happy.
and we're like that. Like we think, oh, this is the end, I'm gassed out. But if you keep digging, you still have more fries.
Let me tell you something. I'm getting so excited talking about this. Listen, 3 quick examples, right?